Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your College Football Saturday Holiday Show. This is your host, Dan Moneyline Miller, along with my co-host, Fox. How you doing, Fox? What's going on today?
Doing great. Good morning. Sweeped up on the Bulls last night, so that's always a good thing. Went to the casino, had fun, ended out there after 3 hours with some money. So it was a good night. So
yep, awesome. You know, and Notre Dame gets advances, beats Indiana last night. So that all those people, if you got Indiana early, which I mean, you're very lucky to cover that. But usually the numbers for Notre Dame came in. So again, if you're back in Notre Dame, you were pretty happy to see that game last night. But moving on to today's games, Fox, we have a lot of games getting on, especially the ones getting on early. We have South Dakota State on the road to face North Dakota State. Both teams are 12-2 here. South Dakota State is laying 3 points, total 50.5 or 50 on DraftKings. Buyback of North Dakota Bison here is plus 140 for the FCS Championship semifinal game. Talk to me about this one. What do you like here?
I love South Dakota State for the nuke the house guys. I gave South Dakota State already -3 last night. The line's moved to 3.5. There is some threes still out there if you want to get that. Really, when you look at this game, this is a game, if you don't know, the Dakotas rule FCS. You basically have 3 Dakotas in the semifinals. You have North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and later you have South Dakota. Those teams, with most of those teams to be North Dakota State and South Dakota State, having the most national championships in the FCS in the last 5 years. These two teams already played each other this year. It was a thrilling 14-9 game. And really that kind of comes into play with there. You get a rematch on a team that in that game, there was a lot of turmoil that you kind of hear behind the scenes, some of the stuff with the offensive coordinator with South Dakota State. But since then, South Dakota State has been rebounding pretty nicely. They are led by a defense that basically only gives up 13 points a game. They gave up 14 times the last time they're playing. There's no other. They give up less than 280 total yards of offense. So I really lean towards the defense here. You've got a little bit too many weapons in the South Dakota State team. A little more prolific passer and a little wide receiver combination. I think South Dakota State covers here probably by a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I also get confused by Clyde. Thank you for tuning in to this morning. You know, I really get confused with all the Dakota States. But if like Fox says, the Dakotas rule the FCS. So the Bison here actually do lead the series 64-47 with 5 ties. I mean, the ties don't implicate here. You obviously can't tie in an FCS championship game, but the Bison do lead 64-47. Does that scare you a little bit, Fox?
Not really. Like I said, I'm going to go with the team with the better defense, and I'm going with the team that does not have a Lance brother on their team. That they just don't win. So,
all right, yeah. So
if you're not aware, Trey Lance's brother, is the leading wide receiver for North Dakota State. Had about 800 yards this year. But yeah, it's not the same team. Yeah.
Gotcha. So we're on South Dakota State today. That's what Fox likes early in the morning. So next game here at 9 a.m. Eastern, West Coast time, 12 Eastern time, is the SMU Penn State game. Penn State laying 9 here, total 52.5. Buyback on SMU is plus 270. Talk about the game script for SMU.
The game script's really easy. SMU is led by the Miami boys. They're led by the ex-Miami boys on defense. They're led by the Miami boys on offense. Keyshawn Smith, Brashard Smith. Brashard Smith has had an excellent year. He's got over, I believe, 1,100 yards on the ground. He's a track guy. He's a burner, but he's put on a little bit of weights here, so he's been able to break more tackles this year, which is kind of interesting. And Lashley has this team playing. The only issue is they're facing the number 1 rush defense in the country. So if SMU is going to move the football, I think they're going to have to move the football through the air. I think their defense is good enough to give Penn State problems. I see money coming in on Penn State. Full disclosure, I've got 7 parlays closing with Penn State money line, so I'm not touching at all the spread. but I kind of want SMU here. If I can get double digits with SMU, I think this game is probably a little closer than people think. But there are a number of actual props that I like this game, and I love the under. I gave the under already in the chat before. SMU under 52.5. I think both teams have very good defense. I think both teams have some little questionable offense at times, be able to be consistent on drives. SMU shut down the Clemson rushing attack. It's kind of very similar when you look at the Penn State rushing attack, especially when you compare the two offensive lines. Maffa barely had 30 yards on like 14 carries, if I recall. So Allen and Singleton are going to be in a day. That's the one thing, though, you look at. Their props are really low. So they're really kind of teasing you out there to say, hey, come grab the prop. But the prop I love, Denise, and this is my favorite play of this game, is Ty Warren over 6.5 receptions. If you're familiar at all, you watched any Penn State games, you know who Ty Warren is. Ty Warren basically stole the tight end, best tight end in the country award away from Harold Fannin, which was an absolute joke from Bowling Green. And I'm going to just pivot right there for 1 second. What do you think of the award shows where basically if you were not a Power 5 player, you almost had zero chance to win any awards?
So coming from someone who bet Travis Hunter at 18-1 in like week 3 or week 4, I wasn't mad about it. I mean, look, I see the award, all the people saying Genty was robbed. However, though, there was never a player, back in the days when all these running backs had statistically, career seasons or great. There was never a player on the other side like Travis Hunter. So, I mean, the argument is there. Like, is he the Shohei Ohtani of college football, right? If he goes out there, strikes someone out, and then hits a home run, he's kind of one of the MVP, right? That's kind of, he's arguably the most valuable player there, right? So I have a lot on writing that on that theory, is if he goes out there, scores the touchdowns, and goes on the defensive side and makes a game-winning play, which he's actually done multiple times this season, you got to consider him as one of the best players in college football. And I think he was deserving of the award, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue. My only question is you set a precedent that basically you had a career season for a running back. No other Power 5 guy is going to – anyone could get close to them. One of the reasons is because if you're in a Power 5 school, you split carries. There's almost no guy who just gets all the carries. Dylan Sampson probably gets the most carries of any Power 5 team with a solid running back where he just gets all the carries. So no one's ever going to reach the numbers he has. So it's essentially – doesn't matter what you do in the other ones that there. Like the bigger issue I had is with Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin led every tight end in the country in 20 different tight end categories. And everyone said, oh, he didn't play anybody. Guess what? They played Penn State. Do you know what he did versus Penn State? He had 151 yards and a touchdown on 10 receptions. So don't tell me he didn't play anybody. He is going to actually be an actual steal in the draft for whoever is able to pick him up, especially if they can get him kind of late.
The real problem with awards, though, is it's a voted on award. It's not based on statistical, right? So that's your problem right there. Is it's not a popularity contest, ladies and gentlemen, but it is a popularity contest. You kind of have to gauge whether people, who's going to get the clicks, right? I mean, Travis Hunter's in a place where he got the clicks, but he also did prove that he's a good player. But also, Genty was just in a Boise State school where it's smaller, and that's just my opinion. As a handicapping awards, you have to kind of move statistics a little to the side sometimes and be like, listen, human nature is to vote on people who you see all the time and who's always on national televised games, right? So there's just a little bit of an edge you have sometimes with handicapping awards based on that. So that's just my two things. So like, you said he got robbed because he statistically was the better player, right? But unfortunately, sometimes statistics don't really add up with awards. So it's
right. I'm just saying, kind of going forward, what you said in your handicapping is I wouldn't bet any G5 player for almost any award. You just can't. They have no chance of really to win.
Yeah.
But back to Ty Warren. I like Ty Warren. He's basically hit this number in 4 of his last 5 games. You're getting plus money right now on the receptions prop at plus 110. So that is a play I'm going to take. There's a couple of interesting ways. I think SMU, if they're going to move the football, is going to have to be through the air. So you can get their best receiver at 46.5 reception yards in Daniels. And I think that's the other play you have to make, because if SMU, even if they fall behind in this game, big, because they show up to this game like they did the ACC championship game, where in the first half, where they're basically non-existent, and Clemson was moving up and down the field and built a 21-point lead. If Penn State builds a 14-point lead, this game's over. This game's a wrap. SMU has to come out and score quick. I think the only way they do that is through the air. I think you can get Daniels coming off this game at 46.5 is a really low number. He's hit this in his last 3. So I definitely would take this. Yep.
Awesome. So there's a wide receiver prop for you that Fox likes. What's your say to the people who are betting on this game, who are betting SMU based off the James Franklin theory that they can't win big games? Talk to me.
Well, that's the funniest thing. When you sit there and you look and you see the people who are not on Penn State, their only argument is James Franklin can't win a big game. And it's James Franklin can't win a big game because he can't beat Ohio State. He can't beat, never mind, he doesn't have the talent of Ohio State, and he definitely doesn't have the talent of Michigan. But you can kind of say the same thing for Rhett Lashley. What big game is he played? He was an offensive coordinator at Miami for years, went to SMU. He made it to their championship game. ACC championship game they lost. They played North Texas last year in the SMU. I believe SMU lost that game as well, going away. So you could kind of make the same argument for Rhett Lashley. If he was facing a bigger, more experienced coach, I could understand making that argument. At another coach who's never been there, never been anywhere near this stage, he is an offensive genius, but I still think the talent overall from Penn State is going to wear them down.
I totally agree with you here. I think SMU is their Cinderella story has come to an end today, and we might, see why. And James Franklin's going to put the nail in the coffin early and all. Like you said, if SMU gets behind, which I think might happen early, so I lean to a Penn State first half bet here. If you think that is a good idea on the spread, let me check that real quick, but.
Minus 3.5.
Minus 3.5. So I like that play. Honestly, if I'm going to lean anywhere towards this game, that's where I'm going to head, because we really have seen in garbage time, some teams really let off the gas. They're looking forward to the next week because they've won the game, right? They're not trying to get injured. Some players literally leave the game because they're not playing, because they're playing the championship semis next weekend. So, we might see the backdoor cover. 9's a big number. Fox might have seen 10 or we're waiting for the 10, I think, to pop up. We're not sure it's going to get there. But if I'm going to bet this game, it's the first half Penn State, right into the bank. That's my lead. Fox likes the under 2 in this play. So in this game, I want to.
Yeah, I like that. I'll take the first half under. I said, I've got a couple personal plays. I'll just tell you what they are. I took Kevin Jennings over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Like you said, I think that gets there in garbage time. And then just because I have to, because the number is too good, is they go with Kadron Allen at 52.5 rushing yards. They basically share the load. Allen actually got 40 more carries than Singleton. Singleton actually got 50 more yards on the year. But 52.5 yards, most of these guys get around 65, 70 most games. So I will play that on a personal bet, but it's not a show play.
Yeah, Drew Allen sucks, according to Mr. Steinberg here.
Steinberg is our resident comedian. He comes in here and he's a Tampa guy like me. So he will just throw a bunch of things about how some funny one-liners, which is really good. It keeps the show going. Drew Aller, when you say that, is actually rising up draft boards. I know several teams that actually really, really like Drew Aller and actually have compared him to a kind of a Josh Allen without the mobility. I kind of told them, well, the thing that makes Josh Allen is his mobility. If he didn't have his mobility, I'm not really sure he's that great of a quarterback. But Sorry, Matt. Matt just caught me off guard there, but yeah, I do think he is kind of probably one of the better quarterbacks that's right now in this college football playoff, though.
Yeah.
If you're ranking quarterbacks 1 through 12, yeah.
If really he could keep his composure, I think he's, again, like you said, one of the better quarterbacks we're going to see in this college football playoff. So going on to the next game we have is the other FCS championship semifinals between South Dakota State and Montana State. South Dakota State sitting at 11-2. Montana State undefeated this season, 14-0. South Dakota, is a 9-point favorite here. Buyback on Montana State is plus 270, total 56.5. What do you like in this game?
I'll be honest with you. The only thing I've done is I've done some parlays that close at Montana State. Montana State's undefeated. South Dakota State is kind of limped into this way. They had a tough game versus UC Davis that they didn't cover the 15. That might have me a little bit sour on them because I didn't get my cover last week. They also played Tarleton State. Tarleton State, they allowed them to score a ton of points. They had to come back in the second half in order to win that game. They didn't cover in that game. They've been the kind of team that's been around. They have experience. They play, but this Montana State team is so good. They are very good, especially on the ground game. I expect them to run all over South Dakota. I'm not taking the 9. Maybe I'll wait to see if there's a live number I can get. But I expect Montana State to win this game.
Yeah, correction.
I'm just not betting 9 points on a team that may or may not show up in South Dakota. Yep.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Again, I don't really have any play on that game. So moving on to the one of the bigger games that you have here from in the comments section.
I have a future on Montana State to win the national championship too, to take it away from the Dakotas. So
awesome. I mean, hasn't happened a lot, but you know, this is a year of the underdogs here, 2024. So we'll moving on to the next game we have is, how do you like Tennessee, by the way? Sorry, we had a comment in here, Tennessee, Ohio State. Clyde thinks Tennessee squashes Ohio State. Before we get to the Clemson, Texas game, talk to me a little bit. Tease us on the Tennessee, Ohio State, Fox.
I think Ohio State wins the game. I really do. I think as long as they do not come out with the same game plan that they had against Michigan, which was try not to lose the game versus actually trying to go ahead and win it. They were very conservative. Yes, their offensive line has issues, 100%. But when you actually check the numbers, and I was talking to Dan about this before the show, Ohio State has more sacks than actually Tennessee does. So don't be surprised if Nico's also running for his life as well. This is the lowest total on the board. It's 46.5. So both teams think the offenses can struggle. But if you're going to compare one offense to the second offense, I think Ohio State has the better defense, and I think Ohio State has the better offense. So I think Ohio State wins the game. Do they cover 7.5? I'm not willing to bet that.
We're just teasing, not getting right into the numbers. So we'll come back to this game, Fox. We'll come. So be careful if you're betting this game, guys. So just we're worried about it. Clemson on the road to face Texas. This is a game that we both like the underdog here. We're gonna spoil you on that one. Clemson on the road to face Texas. Texas 13.5-point favorite here. Total 49. Buyback on the Tigers is plus 410. Fox, are we going to get a cover here?
I'm hoping to get 14.5. Either I might have to wait till the first quarter to get it live, but I'm going to take a second. I'm going to take off my ACC hat that everyone says I wear. I do think Clemson is a better team than people think. They've gotten better as the year went on. I think there's a couple games they lost. They really want to ship back and go, crap, we just thought we were going to walk into that game, throw our helmets onto the field and win the game. And then when teams basically played with them, that's just one they look back and they could have kicked themselves. But they're here. They have a very good defense. Their offense is getting better because Klubnik's been playing better. So this whole game revolves around Klubnik. Couple of reasons. One, Clemson passes at over 65% of the time. The issue is Texas is the number one pass secondary in the league. Clemson's resurgence kind of has happened with the addition of Bryant Wesco. They're outstanding young receiver that has started to have big games, had 153 yards versus SMU, had 90 yards in the previous game. I think Texas takes him away. I think that's their whole plan. If they take him away, the question is, who does Clemson go to? At best, it's probably going to be Antonio Williams. But I think they stay within 2 touchdowns. I'm not willing to bet at 13.5 because I think we're going to get Texas money. I think you're going to see an early Texas drive. But my favorite play is a play I already gave out on the chat board is Wisner over 90 rush yards. I'd probably take him up to 100 as well. I think he definitely gets in the end zone without any issue in this game. I kind of lean at 49.5. I won't be surprised if this is the one game that goes over. I could see some scoring in this game. I think you're also getting a great number if you look at it on Matthew Golden at 62.5 receiving yards. Matthew Golden is kind of been the big play guy that they need. You have a one-shot wonder in Ryan Wingo, the outstanding 5-star freshman, but he does not seem to be consistently getting the football from game in and game out. His receiving stats are generally less than 3 a game. So Matthew Golden seems to be the guy that yours goes to. So at 62.5 yards, that would be the other play that I would take. And then personal bet, I took Wesco at 53.5 because if they're down 2 touchdowns, that might be a back to recover type deal where Tennessee kind of relaxes, just plays rally and tackle, and you're able to get those yards. Similar to what Indiana got last night with Lawton, that you're able to get those things for Governors. And then personally, because I'm getting plus money on it, and Klubnik's done it in every game except the SMU game, is Klubnik over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 120. It's the only time it's been plus money all year for 2 passing touchdowns. I think that's their way of trying to move the football. I think they're going to do that anyway. I don't really trust Phil Maffa to just run it down this Texas defense. That's not happening. So I think this game is either won or lost to Clemson through the year, and it's won basically how Klubnik plays at quarterback. So I lean Clemson taking the points. I'm hoping to get 2 touchdowns. Right now it's 13.5. This game is going to be one of the one games that will be a one-sided Texas fan base. It will be 100 filling up the stadiums. There wasn't a lot of resale tickets for this game that hit the things. The students didn't massively go out like as we'll talk about in the Ohio State game and sell off all their tickets. This is going to be a probably 90% Texas base. It'll be a very interesting game, but Dabo's been there. You want to talk about a coach that's been there. Everyone doesn't like James Franklin, but Dabo's been there. He's won a national championship. He's had 3.5 weeks to get his team ready to go. His team's going to be prepared to play this game.
Yeah, I like Fox. I'm really liking Clemson on this one. The more you say it, the more it's just music to my ears. Dabo's been here, right? He's got the experience. He knows how to get these kids ready. He's had 3 weeks. We're just adding all these things, to layers. And personally, I've been watching these teams, throughout the season. I kind of equate them to, certain similarities between other things. Like Texas, they started off really strong. They beat Colorado State first game of the season 52-0. They also beat UTSA 56-7. And then UL Monroe 51-3. But then we get to some of the later games, right? They only beat Vanderbilt 27-24. Arkansas, they only beat them 20-10. And Texas A&M 17-7. These games that they should be kind of really winning and covering, they're really not. But then we look towards the Clemson side as they're progressing throughout the season. They're having they started kind of shaky, but then they really figured it out towards the end of the season, going off. Obviously losing to South Carolina was a tough game for them. But
South Carolina might have been one of the top 12 teams in the country by the time they played that game. Yeah.
Yes, I really agree with you. I think South Carolina was one of the best teams that they faced, probably arguably all year, other than Georgia, right? But
yep.
They bounced back against SMU in a great game, right? It's just this Clemson team is on the rise while the Texas team is not and they're on the decline, in my opinion. So I think that the stocks are telling you to take the Clemson year plus the points. So that's my theory. Again, I think the Texas are on the downhill slope, just like the Eagles a couple years ago. They won 10 straight, or they were 10-1 going into week 11, and then they lost 8 in a row because they're on the downhill slope and they just couldn't get out of their own way. So not to say that Texas can't get out of their own way. They're on this downhill slope, and I can't take a team that's favored 13.5 on a downhill slope. So that's just my backing there.
I 100% agree. We got a couple things on the chat. Yeager's talking about TJ Moore. I looked at TJ Moore as well. Like I said, I think they take away Wesco. It's just going to be a question of who then steps up. Is it TJ Moore? He's around 25 yards last time I saw him offshore. If you look at Antonio Williams, he's around 53. But the last couple of games, he hasn't been used as much. Brittingstool, the outstanding tight end. But it's going to be a question how much he gets involved. The Texas linebackers are very good at taking away the tight ends. I don't think he's going to be a big factor. Kirk Ray, we already gave Penn State first half -3.5. You're getting it -4. It's still almost the same number except for a push possibility that Dan gave out before. So yeah, we do like that game. Like I said, I think this game's a little closer, or at least we get a backdoor from Clemson. Yep.
Yeah. So again, we're both on Clemson. I'll take the 13.5. I'll be the bold one here, Fox, and take it. So I know you're going to wait for the 14, the late money to come in text or take it live. So I'll be the bold one here and take the Clemson 13.5. Going on to the game of the day we have is Tennessee on the road to face Ohio State. Ohio State 7.5-point favorite here. Total 46.5. Buyback on the Volunteers is +225. Let's do a little deep dive into this one.
Well, here's the question. Ryan Day is probably fighting for his job with this game.
I would agree with you.
What you hear, if he doesn't win this game, he's probably out. And they're probably going to bring another high-profile coach. They'll steal from somewhere else, and we'll start the whole coaching domino. So this game is massive from Ohio State perspective. The one thing that I don't like is you're going to have a big contingent of Tennessee fans because of all the games, the most tickets that were available on the resale market was this game. And the reason for that, I'm assuming, is because this game is scheduled a week and a half after classes ended. If you lived in a dorm, you were kicked out. So the only students, mainly what they projected, most of the tickets based on the sections were student sections. So they were selling their tickets in droves because most likely they're not living in Columbus. Nobody wants to live in Columbus. I'm not a big Ohio State fan. I will flat out tell people it's probably one of the 3 worst schools that I hate the most for obvious reasons. Glenn Sharp. But I think they win the game. And I think it's been massively over-exaggerated how much Tennessee is going to come in here and win this game. Tennessee's offense is built on Dylan Sampson. If you believe in Tennessee, then you should be betting Sampson over 90 rush yards, which I have. That's kind of my one question there. I've taken Sampson over 90 yards. He's probably more than 50% of their total offense. I looked at this game and I said, okay, rushing attack. You've got Judkins, you got Henderson, you've got Sampson on the other end. They probably wash each other out. Probably Sampson gets about 90 yards. Judkins and Henderson probably get about 90 yards. Defensively, Ohio State's defense, you may not like it, but it's very, very good and is better than Tennessee's defense. So then the question came down, who do I like more? Do I trust Nico? Believe it or not, preseason, he was a Heisman Trophy favorite, one of the top 3, which turned out to be laughable. Or do we go with Howard? Howard had a terrible game versus Michigan. But I think that was really the offensive play calling. Everything was short. Everything was, let's protect the offensive line, get rid of the ball quickly, try to protect Howard as much as you have. You've had 3 weeks since that Michigan game. These are still 4- and 5-star backups. These guys are going to be better than they were in the Michigan game. You're going to have better communication. You're going to have better setups to basically be able to handle the pass rush from Tennessee. And I think the offense is a ton better, especially for the passing game, from Ohio State. I think Jeremiah Smith has a big game. I think Carnell Tate, who's my favorite play to bet in this game, at receiver at 48.5 receiving yards. I think he runs it in the slot. He's going to get a lot of quick passes. They're going to their way. The other sneaky play, which is my personal play, I took Squirrel White over 25.5. I think Tennessee is going to try to figure out ways to get the ball into Squirrel White's hand. I think you're going to see wide receiver screens. You're going to see little pitches off the end arounds. Squirrel White's going to be involved in this game for Tennessee to move the football. And the other thing I took Howard over 1.5 passing touchdowns. No play on the side. I've got some parlays from soccer that closing with Ohio State. So I will just live off there. 7.5 is a very interesting line. In some books, it's already come down to 7. Yeah, a lot of people like Tennessee. I have no problem if you want to take Tennessee. I just think when you comparison side by side, I think the advantage goes to Ohio State.
I really agree with you. I think we're going to see a defensive battle here, and I think Ohio State is going to dictate where this game goes. You know, they're going to control the game majorly if they're going to win, right? So I can tell you, Tennessee's not planting their flag in the middle of in the field, Fox. You know, that will not happen unless some people want to get some criminal charges on them. So
did that pass?
I don't think so. I'm not. It wasn't. I'm just bringing it up. I'm not sure it passed, but I know it was brought up to legislation. So
that was absolutely ridiculous. It was even also that you talked at the end of the Notre Dame game, and I didn't actually watch the game. I was driving home from the casino. And the last 5 minutes, the only thing the radio broadcast was talking about is whether or not Notre Dame fans should be storming the field after the game. So does anybody know if they actually did? Because in my eyes, if you're in the college football playoff game, there should never be a storm in the field unless you were the 12th seed and you beat the number 1 seed.
I'm looking it up right now. Ohio passed the law.
Anybody in the chat know whether Notre Dame actually stormed the field last night after they won as a favorite? Everybody turned that game off by that time. Was surprised that they walked up and Indiana actually scored 2 touchdowns at the end of the game.
Ball is now in the NCAA and the Big Ten Conference's court. So the lawmaker who wanted to ban planting the flag in the center of the Ohio Stadium says the ball is now in the NCAA and Big Ten Conference's court. So we'll see if it's the no fun league anymore. So I guess it's still pending. So it's not they can still do it technically.
Okay. I'm not saying Will Howard is the next Tom Brady. That's not what I'm saying. But when you go ahead and you look at Howard's stats, basically, Jeremiah Smith is probably going to score in this game. I have him as an anytime touchdown. And you sit there and you look at the game log and you take away basically the game. Michigan, he threw 2 interceptions. Then after that, 2 touchdowns versus Indiana, 2 touchdowns versus Northwestern, 3 touchdowns versus Purdue, 2 touchdowns versus Penn State, 3 touchdowns versus Nebraska, 2 touchdowns versus Oregon, 4 versus Iowa, 2 versus Michigan State, 2 versus Marshall. There's only 2 games all year he hasn't thrown 2 touchdowns. So taking to have 2 touchdowns most likely is probably going to happen. So I like it. I'm getting a small number on it. You're getting at under -110. So I think he has a bounce back from the Michigan game. I see there. KG loves team totals. He's a boy for me in the chat. He's going SMU team total over 20.5. Okay, I can see it.
You can see it. You think they can maybe backdoor that? As we've been talking about the backdoor cover all day. Can see that coming in.
Yeah, that's the only way I see that happening. But like I said, I think SMU has to get off early, and if they don't get off early, it's going to be a really long-ass game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Noah Gray plus Ohio State -7. And Rafina, I don't know how to say that, to score a goal. How do you like that one?
What are we taking with Noah Gray? That just his name?
Anytime touchdown?
Are we taking receptions? Anytime touchdown?
What are you doing there?
I think they're
Noah Gray has been the Kansas City. I mean, better tight end, to be honest with you. But again, this college football show. But Travis Kelce's been MIA ever since he's been dating Taylor Swift. So,
well, the guys know I dabble in a lot of different things. I do a lot of soccer, so I'm not surprised at the Ravina call. That doesn't shock me. I just don't know what you're doing. Noah Gray to get 2 receptions. What are we taking here? Anytime touchdown? No, I don't like Noah Gray anytime touchdown today.
That game is the Chiefs hosting the Texans. Chiefs 3.5-point favorites. Total 42.5. That kicks off in about less than an hour, so you have some time to console or dabble on your bets.
I don't know how you take this game because yes, Mahomes going to play, but I think the 100% thing you look at is he's not going to run.
No,
there's
not.
Zero chance he runs, so he's not going to make the Mahomes type play. How good can he move laterally? It would be my biggest question. I
personally like the Texans in this game, but I'm not the best NFL better. So I did like the Broncos last on Thursday night, and that did not turn out well for me as they had the lead in the first half and then didn't really want to score in the second half. So.
Yeah, Holden told me, gun to my head, I took the Broncos +3, but personally I didn't take shit. But the only thing I took was Stone Smart, and Stone Smart cashed pretty easily. That game was trouble. I was surprised that you had a game that half the world was on the under. We had 61 points in a Thursday game.
Yeah. Kickoff here between South Dakota State and North Dakota State. The Jackrabbits do have the ball first. So if you like the first quarter bets, I know one of Scott Pritchard, one of the great handicappers here in Las Vegas, he finds first quarter edges. Whenever the team gets the ball the first quarter, if you can get that information before the book takes it down, he likes to bet those teams, blindly. So
yeah,
a San Diego State first quarter, you have the ball, so you are in good shape.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, you got to be pretty quick on that, but yeah.
Yes, you have to be really quick. The only thing is that some books don't take it down quickly. So I know Scott Pritchard, one of the great handicappers here in Las Vegas, does take advantage of that. And Randy McKay is a great Dakota, one of the best bettors ever in North Dakota. So he's watching this game very closely. I'll have to maybe text him to see what he likes on this side. So
I will say, like I told people, and people laughed at this, I think this game might be the best game of the day. It's just like 100 people are going to probably watch the game that didn't go to North Dakota or South Dakota State. So I do. My father went to an FCS school, so that's why I get a lot of FCS watching, because just to have communication with my father of how bad Southern Illinois did. But and when I'm down there, I end up watching this game. Like I watched the North Dakota State Southern Illinois game in its entirety, and if you looked at the score, you would understand it wasn't that great.
Yeah, big play here from the Jackrabbits as the line quickly shifts from North Dakota 6.5 all the way down to 2.5. So it is a 3rd and 7 on your broadcast here, but obviously the books are a little ahead of us here, Fox. So there goes it goes well for your South Dakota State.
Yeah, but you said it was 6.5. They jumped the line from.
It was
3.5 to 6.5.
Now it's 4th and 7. I did see North Dakota State -6.5 or +6.5. Sorry.
Okay.
Quickly, but then it gets
trying to pull the game up. ESPN right now is not working.
Probably a bad number, to be honest with you, because the game was 3. So.
Yeah, like I said, North Dakota State won the first game. If anything north of 7.5, I would probably take the other team. I think this is going to be a back and forth game, but I think it's yardage is going to be tough to come from for both teams. But I do like the South Dakota State offense more than I like the North Dakota State offense.
Yeah, 4 and out.
Defense
they just punted the ball. This SMU game is yet to kick off. Still at 9 here. With SMU as the underdog. Team total, we have a lot of people on the team total here, or KG and the team total again, 20.5.
Yep.
Use the code Nuke Holidays for a 1-week free trial. Please use code Nuke Holidays for 1 week free trial. Best bettors in the world. I know Keg down there kills it on the live betting. So if you
Yeah, so Keg is up over 211 units for this season. Like I tell people, if you haven't figured out, listen to me one time, I am more Greg Peterson than Keg. I am a volume better.
former producer for Greg Peterson.
Okay.
So
I believe basically I'm going to win more than I'm going to lose. I take different options at different times. My record shows it. I'm up 151 units last time I looked for the year. So it's definitely 59.99. It's a good value. There's a lot of different plays, different cappers. Zarga's doing really well. He only does hockey, but he's up as well. So
I'm a UFC guy too, and I love college football. So you get a lot of plays and any sport you like, we're handicapping at nukethehouse.com. Nuke the holidays is your code for a free trial. SMU and Penn State has kicked off. Penn State now has the ball. It is a 3rd and 2 there in Penn State. So again, if you like the first quarter bets, Penn State does have the ball, but 3rd and 2. So defense here seems to be holding up for SMU. The Bison have a 2nd and 9 rolling out here. 3rd and 10, actually. Good stop for the South Dakota Jackrabbits. So 0-0 there in the score between the FCS semifinals. The spread's coming down. It was 2.5, now 1.5 South Dakota State. So keeping an eye on that. The total seems to be similar. It's 50.5. It is actually same as the opening. Juice to the over though. So now we have a flip in the favorites. Flipping the favorites here, Fox.
I will tell you, Jeff, I had no idea what he was doing, Alar was doing there, because he had Singleton sitting on the sideline there for like 10 minutes. He got through the first guy, and Singleton just hanging on the edge, and he's just like, throw it over the cornerback's head. There, he's just standing there now. He might be blending in with the coaching staff, but Singleton comes out. He's got to put himself feet sideways back to the coaching staff, and Alar does not throw it. But SMU defense steps up for the first series. So
yes, you got a punt, and it's going to be around the 32, 33-yard line for the SMU Broncos. So, all right. SMU has a good good defensive stand on the first drive.
Yeah. So what is your take? Does the whiteout have a big difference today?
To be honest with you, I think home field does play a little bigger role in college football. These are young kids, right? These aren't professional athletes. So, the noise really gets to them. It's, an attribute that I do like to handicap, and I think it really home field plays a big role in college football. So, yes, I think to answer your question and to babble about it a little bit, yes, I think the home field has a little bit. Oh, wide open SMU. There we go to the 51-yard line. First down, SMU. All right. So SMU driving. Hurry up offense. What's your take on that? They're running the hurry up.
Well, I think they're going to try to do something to not allow Penn State to switch out. So Penn State had kind of switched package. They had more of their pass coverage package there. So they were trying to get there because you're going to have to do something to get Brashard Smith into this game for SMU because he's been primarily their main offense. So if you could get them into a dime coverage or a nickel coverage or a 10 coverage, then being able to run the ball with Smith has their chance. This should have been PI.
Yeah, there it is. There's the flag. Wow. So SMU now a 7.5-point underdog, if you like that. Total 51.5. Gone up,
Yeah,
and there's the Bison touchdown. Bryce Lance, Trey Lance's brother, catches the first touchdown of the game.
Of course he does. Yeah.
Yes. So the Bison taking early 6-0 lead pending the field extra point. So San Diego State waiting on Randy McKay's text. Actually, Randy McKay did get back to me. See what Big Randy says. Yep, he likes North Dakota State plus 3.5. He has North Dakota State plus 3.5 pregame. So that's the Big Randy McKay, one of the best bettors in the North Dakota to ever come out of North Dakota. SMU looking pretty good, honestly. Running quick offense.
Yep.
But again, right? Don't judge a book by its cover, right? This is the first drive, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get overzealous. It's not going to. This ain't the first drive's not going to dictate the game. So.
So SMU is going to get another interesting Miami player that should be in the portal. Chris Johnson, Miami's kick returner, same thing as Brashard Smith was. Runs a 4.2. Had been seldom used by Miami. Jumps in the portal. Expected to go to SMU next year. And replace Brashard Smith or play with him.
Yeah, I mean, this SMU team just looks. It's really a can't lose game, right? They're
correct, and that's one of the things they should be able to play very free in this game.
Yeah, they're in a great position, right? They think they deserve to be in here, right? I mean, I won't disagree with them, but they're the underdogs for a reason, and it's a can't lose game, right? You're playing, and if you win, right? I mean, man, the money and the attention that's going to come your way is going to be unbelievable. So for SMU, I think this is a great game just to showcase, just to say F it and go out there and play some ball. Because next year, I think they might be in the same conversation next year.
Yeah, I mean, they've got big West Texas oil money, so it's not going to stop them from being able to get players. So if you early people like to bet futures like myself, SMU might be a ticket you might want to be investing in soon when those numbers come out. So North Dakota State, 7 plays, 80 yards, took 3 minutes and 41 seconds off the clock with a 31-yard touchdown, I'm pretty sure, from Lance. So early North Dakota State score there. Are you willing to jump in on South Dakota State live? What's their number is 3.5-point underdogs. Tough. It's like, 'cause that's where it's I haven't been able to watch the game. I keep trying to bring up the ESPN app for whatever reason it is not working. So let me just switch over to.
Sometimes it doesn't work out. It's a lot of clicking and stuff. Which provider do you want to go to? So Grant Olson, defensive coordinator, having a good game. First stop. He's got his team fired up. So early 7-0 lead. Again, the North Dakota State flip favorites, now 3.5-point favorites on the live line. Total 54.5. Buyback on the South Dakota State Jackrabbits is plus 150.
Yeah, I'm going to reset this. Actually, I'm going to do this on the computer better. Bear with me 1 second. I'm also trying to see how my soccer plays actually came out.
Nothing on the Penn State SMU game. Penn State 6.5-point favorites, still total 51.5. Buyback on SMU is plus 185. Believe it is a 4th down in that game, so pending their decision. What would you do in that game? 4th and 1 on the 19. You're kicking the field goal, or you're going for it?
I'm a big proponent of taking the points, especially in a playoff game.
It is early. I do agree with you. However, just watching this game, SMU has been moving the ball and looks like they are going for it. They have been moving the ball quite well on this first drive, so why not keep the momentum going, in my opinion? If I was playing a college football game, which I do a lot.
He's got it easy. What is he doing? What is he doing? He had the first. He went for the touchdown and Ibner drops it. You had the first. Just take the first.
Wow. And early.
Me and KG always agree with this. To me, you take the points because what people don't ever factor in is the emotional factor.
Oh, you
went down, you scored points. You gave people like, he couldn't move the ball. We moved the ball and we got something. Now, essentially, you moved the ball and you got nothing.
Yeah, and that's going to kill
right down
momentum.
here, puts any points up the fam, and you're just like, oh crap! There's such a and it's the same thing where analytics never comes into play. People always go, oh, you do the analytics. You don't realize what it takes when you go for the 2 and you don't get it. How that just deflates your team, and you're like, oh shit, we lost.
Yeah, I think that's going to kill momentum for SMU. Honestly, the live line went to Penn State -8.5. 7.5, sorry. Quick change there. -7.5, total 48.5. So the totals dipped down 2 points from that play. Buyback on the SMU +210. So, that was just a mental mistake, honestly, from the quarterback from SMU. Jackrabbits moving the ball, though. You're at the 50-yard line, 2nd and 8.
Yep.
Getting a good third down here, 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 4.
Well, they're getting Johnson involved, which is big. Getting the 3rd and manageable. Let's see if they don't get stuffed again. So that would be big. Yep.
Clemson at Texas hasn't moved at all here, Fox. Still 13.5. Juiced a little on DraftKings towards the Clemson side at -112. So we're still trying to keep an eye on that game to see if those numbers move. None of the Tennessee-Ohio State game, again, hasn't moved yet. Still keeping an eye. And it's a San Diego State first down, Fox. First down.
So here's the one question I forgot to bring up. So do you know if Pribnu is actually dressed and playing for Penn State this game?
I do not know off the top of my head. Let me look it up.
Because he's the backup who jumped in the portal for Penn State, which you got to love guys who jump in the portal who are in the college football playoff. And the only reason I mention it, because when they get down to the goal line, he generally comes in and takes the snaps. Big play here by South Dakota State.
Yep.
Boom, down to the 5-yard line. And Kadron Allen does nothing.
Yep.
But because if he doesn't come into the game, then taking a LAR like at anytime touchdown at like +200 is probably a good bet. Because most likely he'll be the one that'll run the quarterback sneak instead of Pribnu. So, and that's kind of the one thing just to kind of keep in the back of your mind.
Ethan Gunker-Meyer is behind Drew Aller today.
Okay. So I guess he does dress. So he pretty much gave up on his team.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But we do have a 2nd and goal on South Dakota State looking to answer. And it's Penn State first down.
Yeah, see, this is going to be so deflating where you went down, you didn't get any points. Now, quite frankly, the call was there. You just got to tell Jennings there's nothing wrong with getting a first down. Yes, I understand you had a wide opening guy, but you didn't really even throw the football. You kind of just pitched it out. Yes, there's some guys yesterday that had some nice pitch touchdowns that you saw if you're watching the Friday game. But if you had the first down, is this a touchdown? I think this is a touchdown. Oh, they're going to mark him at the 1.
Mark him at the 1. Yeah, look, I play a lot of the college football game, right? And there's a lot of instances where I can either get the first down or throw the ball and potentially make a big play or a touchdown. Sometimes, well, I'm going to say sometimes. Let's just say 50% of the time when I really try to make the big play, it turns out to be not good. So take the points.
Touchdown, Jackrabbits. Let's go. 7-7.
Awesome. Here, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm about to mute myself. My dog's acting up.
Oh, no problem. So this is a massive down here. It's 3rd and 8. They got him 3rd and long here. SMU defense has to step up. Or we could sit there and say the great Drew Aller here, and I don't think he's great. But I am telling you, he is becoming a second, third round draft pick from what I'm hearing. So don't be shocked, Jeff, when he gets picked there. All right, so I'm going to take Florian Wart's assist or goal, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll take that with the Texas money line.
South Dakota State, I know you said it, gets in 7-7. We got a tie game there. Live line is flipped again. South Dakota State now -2.5 point favorites. Total of 54.5. So that total has gone up now 4 points. If you got it at pregame, it was 50.5 or 50. Now 54.5. So we're seeing some points. And quite honestly, looking at these last couple of drives, I think we're going to see a lot of downfield plays, a lot of big chunk plays. So I wouldn't be surprised if this game sees the 60s, honestly, if they keep throwing the ball like that. So it's going to be an over's dream if you bet the pregame total of 50.5, if it continues to play like that.
Oh, yeah. If you get 21 points in the first quarter, you'd be like, all right, well, this is a lock.
Yeah. Still 0-0.
The absolute word that any true bettor hates when someone says, hey, it's a lock.
Yeah. I say it all the time. And just a phrase, ladies and gentlemen, just a phrase. I know there's no lock in gambling, but we do give out locks, just so you know.
Yeah, especially in soccer. There's definitely not a lock in soccer. You can have the right side and some moron does a foul way early in the game. You're like, all right, now you're playing with 10 guys. Shocking you did not win.
Total 45.5. So we're seeing some. It's coming in on the under for this SMU Penn State game, which you said pregame, which you liked. So it's looking good for you as the number continues to dip. No big plays in that game yet. Snow covered around the stadium, so it's cold there at Penn State. So everyone's in jackets, as you can see.
Well, the one thing is, does that hurt your fan base? So the one thing I want to check back, and you were saying the home field advantage is such a big deal. My one caveat and devil's advocate for that is it's such a big deal anymore with the coaches being able to talk to the quarterback with 15 seconds still on the game clock, on the play clock. Sorry.
A little bit. I mean, if you know,
I think that diminishes some of it. It's not like he's a question getting the play. You've got a guy sitting there talking to him, telling him what the reads are, what your kind of look, just relax. And where before in the old days, when you're that guys with 5 signs or making little hand gestures, but SMU's defense steps up here. So we're still at a 0-0 game. So this is what they had to have. Yep.
I still think that the home field, because when the bigger moments, we're only in the first quarter here, Fox, and I know it's early, and with that communication stuff, those stadiums start rocking, and it's hard to hear. And God forbid, Fox, what if he hears the wrong thing, right? So sometimes he might hear right when it's left, or go where it's stopped, or something like that. You know, all it takes is one syllable for him to mess up, which it's human nature. So I think it's early. Fourth, you know, the drinks haven't been flowing yet, Fox. Wait till the drinks start flowing and the fans really start getting into this game. So especially if Penn State gets up early, SMU gets up early, we might see some quiet fans. So
I do think SMU needs to stop trying to run Burchard Smith right through the A gap. That's not going to be their own game.
I personally think if you're betting this live, you're really kind of seeing who scores first. If you see who scores first, that might take the wind out of the other team, Fox.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think defenses are going to survive here. Like I said, I had no issue with anybody taking over a touchdown with SMU. I was hoping to get 10. Pick 6.
Pick 6. Oh my gosh, wow. Penn State. Big turn of events in the Penn State game. And as I say, whoever scores first in this game might deflate the other one. And
I'm gonna get my 10.
yeah, you got 10.5. So
it really only went to 10.5. I thought it'd be like 12.
On DraftKings.
I get 13.5 right now is what I see.
Oh.
I actually might wait. Let's just see what this next drive looks like.
7-7 still in the FCS semifinal game. And then we have at 12:30 Pacific time, South Dakota on the road to face Montana.
Sorry. Massive hit. My quarterback went for it, was in the air, would have basically got it in the air, and then the linebacker came and met him in the air. So he's short,
4th and 1.
Yeah, he's short. They're thinking about going for it, but it is a nice, solid smack right on him.
Oh, yeah, he's feeling that one in the morning. Definitely. Yeah. So, again, South Dakota versus Montana State. Montana is 9.5-point favorite there. Montana State's the undefeated team here at 14-0, and South Dakota's 11-2, total 57. So that game's coming up after the South Dakota State, North Dakota State.
If they call this South Dakota State, that's a travesty because none of them actually got through the line. Okay, good call. They call it on North. Well, all they were trying to do is draw them. The South Dakota State kind of jumped side to side, didn't actually go forward, and the left guard and tight end each exploded forward. So no one actually goes forward. He kind of just moves. No one ever gets into the neutral zone, and North Dakota State's players jump for no reason.
It's a good call. So, South Dakota State getting the ball back after this punt. So, this number is going all over the place. I can tell you that. Still hovering over that 2.5 now, favoring South Dakota State. Total 52.5. Let's continue seeing the big plays from South Dakota State. If we continue seeing those big plays, I think that total might get there. But again, very early in the game.
Are you on the over?
No, I just think after seeing a lot of these big plays, I think the over might probably get there. I think this game might end in the 60s if these big plays continue to.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but South Dakota State hangs its hat on its ability to play defense. And the question you wonder, did you basically just get the scripted plays from North Dakota State? You hit the big pass play, which gave you the touchdown. Was that the majority of the game? Like, what's the first half over?
First half over.
29.5. Yeah. I think that drops below. You probably take that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed. Again, I want to see this drive from South Dakota State. I think if they can continue seeing or continue calling big plays that can gain Chuck yardage, that this game might be a shootout.
Yeah, Crystal Palace and Arsenal just kicked off. We're on Bukayo Saka, anytime assist or goal at -110. Leverkusen of Freiburg just took off. I like Leverkusen here, but they're -220, so it's not a play. I did take him with Florian Wirtz, anytime assist or goal with Leverkusen money line, which gives you +105. I love Wirtz. I think he's one of the best players in Bundesliga. Him and Musiala are the basically future of the German team. We get a Penn State kickoff out of bounds. Ball will be at the 40.
You just can't do that. Come on. That's just
no,
not
you can't. See, that's like, I don't know how I take. So I'm switching to the NFL here. I don't know how you take any props from the Chiefs. You just don't know who's going to play. I mean, the books even know it. I mean, if you really want to go out there and like take your props, everybody's prop from Kansas City receiving court is lower than it's been any game this year. It's not because the Texans have a great defense.
You're pretty much banking on or betting on Carson Wentz, right? In a sense. Right?
In a sense, because
Carson Wentz, and how good is he still?
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, Mahomes is playing this game, right?
He is, but he's definitely limited. I mean, we've seen after these ankle injuries occur, he's not as mobile as he is. I mean, as he once shows that he can be.
I mean, get Hollywood Brown makes his first game there. He's got a 15.5 prop. I almost think you have to bet that.
Interesting.
He had 88. He had 0 versus Pittsburgh. He had 88 versus the Rams. You got to think they're going to try to somehow get him the football. And the 4 games he has played, he beat this prop every game.
The one concern I would have for the Texans backers is this game's being played outdoors. And the Texans
cannot continue to do this. Sorry.
The Texans' outdoor record is 2-2 this season, but again, a team who plays in the stadium going to a cold environment doesn't really do well, I think. 4th and 2 for SMU. 1st and 10 for South Dakota State, driving.
They continue to try to run the ball up the middle. Now, like I said, that's been their bread and butter all year with Rashard Smith, but you're not going to do it with Penn State. The number 1 rush defense in the country is going to completely shut you down.
Don't you trying to chisel away a little bit? Maybe.
Absolutely dreadful punt here by SMU.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know you're just trying to stay in the game, but you're better off rolling your quarterback out and giving him a 2-way option. I also think any short yardage play, I think the option is the most unguardable play in the country on a short yardage play. If you have a team that can actually pass the ball. If you're Army or Navy and you want to line up and say, yeah, there's probably 0 chance you're really passing the ball. But if you are a Power 5 team and you could run, and you had different wide receivers who could have quick little outs and have tremendous speed, who is going to pull the corner out, there's no way to defend the option.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially when you have a fast player.
Yeah. And I'm shocked that more teams don't do it on short yardage. Instead, let's get out and go. Let's go heavy. So we have less running room and less alleys to run. And the only good thing you can do is put an offensive tackle down there at your fullback so he can push you, which is the worst thing I hate in sports. I absolutely hate it when your left tackle can just carry you into the end zone.
SMU.
So there was an interview with Joe Mixon. And they were like, how do you do so well moving the legs? And he's like, seriously, I'm technically not moving the legs. When the offensive line starts to push and there's like a bunch of guys there, I actually want to lift my feet off the ground and just let them carry me.
Interesting. That's a good joke.
So he's like, I'm churning like there. So the one time they come through, but he's like, I don't want them to be on the ground. That's all I'm really trying to do. So they can just, there's no chance of me getting hurt and they can just push. So you got a big first down. So you got a small 1st and 5 on the offsides for North Dakota State. They're almost approaching midfield again for South Dakota State. So.
End of the first quarter, 7-7. Ball's at midfield there at South Dakota State. South Dakota State at North Dakota State. We have a 3.5-point favorite in South Dakota State after the first quarter. Over 52.5 is your total. Little two points higher than your pregame total. So and then for the Penn State game, we're getting a little bigger number than we have in the pregame. 13.5-point favorite is Penn State now, total 48.5. So you're getting a little more than, just less than 2 touchdowns there for SMU if you still like them. But
what are they basing that off? It's not like Penn State's moved the football. I mean, they've got 35 yards of total offense. That's
defense wins championship. Yeah. If your defense can score you 14 points, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, Ty Warren is your leading running back with rusher with Drew Aller. Kadron Allen is the only guy to catch a pass besides Wallace caught one for 7. Aller's only got 20 yards. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, the 13.5 is obviously just based on the score, but it's just kind of like now it's 14.5.
Yeah, now 14.5. It's like I said, I think whoever scores first here is definitely going to win. Obviously, win the game, but the momentum is.
Oh, they got a first down. That's why we went to 14.5.
That play that quarterback had for SMU, he really took the momentum out. The whole first quarter.
Yeah, it looked like a panic move. He had to rush right up the middle, and all he did is just said, "I'm getting rid of it."
Yeah, you really just need to get the first down there, and like you said, like I'm saying earlier in the game, right? If I'm playing the college football video game, right, 50% is I'm trying to make a big play. I can 100% get the first down, right? Or I can turn the ball over and have a terrible play, or magically throw it to the end zone, right? You take the first down 100% of the time. It's just you got to play the odds, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, now it's 16.5-point favorites for Penn State. So shooting up here as Penn State looking to score their second time of the game in the first quarter. So our first half bet's looking pretty good here, Fox.
Yeah, we got Ty Warren getting involved here, getting his first catch of the game.
Looks like a Tom Brady throw, right?
What?
Looks like a Tom Brady throw. It was pretty good from Drew Aller. Look at that. Find the soft spot in the zone, gun it right to him. What a throw by Aller.
You don't want to be on Jeff's bad side. He has definitely got some one-liners. Definitely. He has made Keg hate the Jets at times.
As a Patriot fan, I can't get enough of hating on the Jets. It's comedy at this point. It's just comedy. So I'm with you there.
Who are you when you play college football? I have college football as well. I've played 7 successful seasons. I have dynasty mode. Yeah.
I'm with Holden's alma mater, the Kansas Jayhawks. That's my team. We run the ball a lot with Devin Neal. He's obviously he's one of the best, and Luke Grimm is a pretty good wide receiver too. So we use him a lot of jet sweeps. So we like to move the ball around, go in different directions. So we have a lot.
Do you play online, or do you play just random people online, or what do you normally do?
We do. We play online. We're actually the top 37,000 player in the world. So we're out of 2 million people. We're the top 37,000. We take that with a little pride, but we do play online. Okay. So we'll have to add Fox and play sometime. So, all right. Yeah, well, I play on PSN. I'm Unfriendly is the gamer tag. So if anyone in the chat wants to hit me up on there, I'll be playing. So pretty good.
What was your gamer tag again?
I'm Unfriendly. I'll put it here in the chat.
All right. SMU defense with the sack.
Yeah, like you said, this offense isn't really doing much. I mean, a couple good throws, but fourth down.
The consistency. This has been their issue all day. They haven't been able to run the ball. So neither team can run the ball at all to save their life.
Penn State's offensive line isn't really holding up, Fox. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
The SMU's D line is really blowing them up, kind of, when they want to. So
you want to know the thing that makes me sad?
What's up?
50% of the SMU defensive line are ex-Miami guys.
Oh. We had a lot of Miami fans in the day for the show this year.
Oh, he gets out of it.
4th and 13.
That was a terrible throw.
Oh, that looked like a Tom Brady throwing out of the pocket on the run. So
like a guy who can't run.
Yeah. So we got first down, SMU as they turn the ball over. Live line now 10.5, total 46.5. There's some life for SMU if you like them. Not good for our first half back, but we need some defense, I guess, from the Nittany Lions. None of these teams have moved yet. Fox still sitting at 13.5 for the Clemson, and still sitting at 7.5 for the underdogs. If you like Tennessee, no movement there.
I just got to tell my insider in an unknown AFC front office that Aller looks like crap. So his earlier thing like that, you might want to take him off his board.
SMU with a good run here, 8-yard run. So I think SMU continues to run the ball because they're trying to prove a point here, Fox. I think they're like, all right, if we're going to win the game, we have to run the ball. So
that's their offense. That's their staple.
Yeah.
That has been their staple. So they're basically saying we're going to live or die with it.
Yeah.
I like Johnson, a nice run. I mean, we brought in the second string back here. Oh, it should have been holding on the left tackle.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the flag. Oh, are they calling roughing? They got to be calling holding on the left tackle. 11 just absolutely destroyed him.
That's Carter, right? I think.
Yeah, he's the stud. So in order to get 11, you better be a stud anyway, because it's only a number they give based on it. That's Abdul Carter. Yep.
Holding.
The future first-round draft pick.
Oh, yeah. I've actually used Penn State a couple times in the college football game, and their defense is scary with the number 11. So,
yeah.
Primarily, we are a Kansas Jayhawk team.
But I think they do have to run a little bit, especially off the edge. But they have to stop these center guard runs. A gap, B gap, no, forget that. Just no. Or you start A gap, B gap, and then just tell him, oh, is he out? Is he out?
That's 1 point. I think he's in for South Dakota State we're talking about.
Yep. Sorry, we switched over.
Yep.
And see, they've got to figure out how to get Brashard Smith the ball because A, he's a home run hitter. B, he's been primarily their offense. So I don't be surprised that they throw him screens. You're going to throw different things. You're also going to try to figure out a way to slow down this pass rush.
Yeah. SMU.
So far, I mean, our only score came off of the defense, so not too shocking here.
South Dakota State driving 2nd and 4. Now they have crossed enemy territory. They're in the enemy 44, something like that, 46, I believe. So they're driving.
Yep. Slow, methodical, though. Eating a lot of clock, right?
They're running a lot. So there goes my belief of this game's going to go in the 60s. I'm going to take that one back. I don't think they're going to.
Oh,
not an official.
Oh, that's a terrible spot. That's a great spot for SMU, but that's a terrible spot. If this is reviewed, he is about a half foot short.
Yes, I agree with you. That looked short. One ref is saying, "You sure about that?" I think to him right now. As the end of the first quarter happens, SMU down 7-0 to Penn State. So we're holding on to that first half -3.5. If you're backed us from the pregame show here with Penn State.
His shoulder hits below the yellow line. I mean, the only thing that's going to hurt SMU in this is the quarter, and they're definitely going to review this for a long period of time.
Yeah,
he's going to be short, and the catch is made again by the ex-Miami guy, Keyshawn Smith.
4th down here in the South Dakota State game. Looks like the offense is staying on here, Fox. They are. They will be going for this 4th down here. 7
Time to ride AJ Johnson here.
All right, total still 3.5 point spread, total 51.5. So you're getting the 1 point of death if you bet this game.
It's like the quarterback run with Gronowski, and it is.
It is, and it's a San Diego State 1st down. Let's go. All right. Now entering the Bison 39-yard line. So as they are knocking on the door of the red zone. That's the only game live right now we have, as the other one has hit the commercial break at the first quarter. We'll get you those numbers. If you like Penn State, you have to lay 10.5. But you're up 7-0. However, pending review, this is either going to be a 4th down or a undeserving 1st down. Let me just say that. Total 45.5. Oh, South Dakota State, touchdown, South Dakota State. There it is. What a run.
Yep.
So
if people don't know, we are going to drop here. We're going to go to Kegs. We'll have the NFL because the NFL show will be live, and I'll probably stop dropping there as well because we'll have the college games on there as well. So,
coming up next,
taking off. Yep.
Sorry, Holden and Keg coming up at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern to talk about the NFL and talk about all things live betting in these college football games. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And also use code the holidays for your 1-week free trial at nukethehouse.com.
All right, so we got South Dakota State up by 7, so that's good. Man, this is just a simple. Here we go. Little off tackle, come through from a pro set.
That's all the running back right there, breaking tackles, I think. And honestly, just a piss poor tackling job from.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things there where North Dakota State comes in here with a 16% break tackle efficiency. So a lot of people thought South Dakota State's running backs would have more success than they did in the first matchup. Now, they've already scored more points than they have in the first matchup. They just put on the screen that South Dakota State, again, we talked about how great their defense is outscoring opponents 238-43 in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So far it's 7-0. So
that's not just happenstance, ladies and gentlemen. That's a trend for a reason. So this team is, as the games go on, this team gets better. So if you're looking for South Dakota State now at 7.5 favorite, 7.5 point favorite, total 55.5. We're going up. Come on, let's get this 60.
They gave the first down, piss poor tackling, and Daniels is free.
Wow. They gave him the first down.
But that's what we liked. We liked Daniels at 46.5. So this is going to be halfway there. He's going to catch it around the 40. He's going to get to about the other 40. So that's going to be about a 21-yard gain. And Daniels gets involved. We thought we'd get most of his things in garbage time, but it looks like, hey, we're going to have half of that already. We'll take that. Awesome. 46.5, halfway there.
SMU.
I'm shocked they gave the first down. I still think he was short.
Yeah, I think probably should have threw the challenge flag. Maybe he didn't want to burn the timeout. I don't know. Well, that's James Franco for you, though. It's a big game. He's not making the right decisions. So Penn State, 9.5 point favorite now. Total 46.5 on DraftKings. Plus 270 is your buyback on SMU. If you think they can score and even it up here.
Arsenal has scored twice. They're up 2-1 in the Crystal Palace game. So lots of goals coming in for the EPL.
Soccer? I've never heard of that before.
And I'll give you the thing. Leverkusen is at 0-0, so that's probably more what you were expecting. Yeah.
Yeah, this State quarterback is taking some hits here. Fox. He's looking a little slow getting up after every run he's having.
Yeah. Well, that was a massive hit to his back. I mean, it was kind of a slow slide, and he just crushed him right in the back.
Yeah.
But it was still first for him. He got the first down.
He dove head first.
Here comes another more wide receiver screens. Penn State's going to adapt to this. They're going to switch up on this. They're going to have to come up with something else.
Yeah, they stopped it right there. Big loss, about a 6 or 7 yard loss right there. Yeah. So it's working well.
It's okay to go quick if you have success. You don't go quick after you lost 6 yards.
Yeah.
And they can't run the ball, so this is not going to be Brashard Smith. So, though this might be a way where I actually would probably try to run with Brashard Smith
it's
because
sort of manageable, maybe, right?
Yeah, you're going to be dropped back into some kind of zone or draw, most likely.
Because if you get stacked here, it drives over. So I would agree with you. You don't necessarily throw the run out, which incomplete pass, short 4-yard attempt goes incomplete. Yeah. 3rd and 16 now. So now you're forced to throw it deep, which
right through Daniel's hand. Jack Rabbits with a nice 3-yard loss after on a 2nd and 2. So it sets up 3rd and 5. Jennings looks a complete lost here. So where do you think Preston Stone ends up? I love Preston Stone. I don't know if he's the same quarterback that he was before the injury, but yeah. And there's your home field advantage coming into play. Jennings has to call timeout.
There it is.
Got the first down again. North Dakota State quarterback again runs for the first. That seems to be the only way they're moving them there. South Dakota State might want to start thinking about spying them.
I'm not sure to answer that Preston Stone question. I think he's going to go where the money is, right? I mean, The
Is he a guy
landscape.
that's like commanding money? He had a great freshman year. He got hurt at the end, and then Jennings played, and then he came in through this year. The injury didn't go well, had to have a second surgery. Started this year. I don't know if he was fully healthy, but didn't have a really good first game. And then after what week 2, week 3, they switched over to Jennings, and Jennings has held it ever since.
I have a good answer, which is probably a wrong answer, but an answer that you might like. Florida State.
You got Castellanos there.
True.
I mean, I do surprise. I mean, the only school that I looked at that has actually accepted 2 transfers is Auburn. I have no idea what Daniels is doing. I like Ashton Daniels coming out of Stanford there, but for him to choose Auburn when who's the guy that chose Auburn first? I was kind of shocked why you would leave Stanford where you're probably going to be the starting quarterback. Do guys go to a place where you're going to compete for the starting quarterback? And I know a guy can say, well, I like a guy who wants to compete, but
money's got to be some sort of a factor here when these guys are choosing colleges. That's why I have no good answer, because whoever's going to really pay them the most, honestly.
Yeah, and it's becoming a little bit ridiculous where guys are getting 3, 4 million, 5 million to do nothing. Yeah. And Jackson Arnold, that's the other guy's name I was looking for out of Oklahoma. So, yep.
Big 3rd and 6 here for the Bison as they do.
Oh, and he's crushed.
Big sack here for the South Dakota Jackrabbits as that forces the Bison to punt up 14-7. Live line is South Dakota State minus 9.5. If you like the Jackrabbits, total 51.5. So 52.5. It's going up and down. So 2 points higher than the opening total.
All right. He says Lars already been told his representatives already said he's going back to school.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought Drew Aller's going to come back for another year just to showcase his talents.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's talk if he had a good college football playoff. There we go. And I don't mind any guy who's going to be a 1st or 2nd round pick. Go ahead and go. But now, yeah. I mean, a lot of times you go back to college, you're getting 8 million, 10 million to come back. It's not surprising.
You're getting a lot of money for his life.
He threw it right to the linebacker again. 13's got it again. This is Penn State's best offense. He's down. This might be a 2nd pick 6, and it is.
Wow.
Number 2. The Penn State defense 14. The SMU and total team 0.
There goes I'm going to say the first half's a lock with that one, 3.5. So that was an awful throw from 13.
At this point, Preston Stone might be coming in the second half.
Yeah, he's
completely confused.
He might be staying in SMU to answer your question. Man, what a terrible throw. I'm going to call game there for Penn State because it's going to be a whirlwind for SMU to come back after that, because that's 2 plays now that you could have avoided points, and now he's thrown two pick sixes, which as a quarterback, as a 19-year-old, 18, 17, whatever, how old is he? He is rattled right now. Let me tell you that.
He didn't see 13 at all. He just lollipopped that throw. It's a great run by 13. I mean, it was tremendous to be able to cut field, see the space, get out to the outside, and get to the house, because it wasn't trusting his offense to score. But I don't know what Jennings saw at all. It's almost like DJ Lagway yesterday when he had 2 touchdowns and just never saw the linebacker standing in front of his receiver. And went, yeah, here we go. Little soft toss. I was like, all right, okay.
He's got the jitters, Fox. He's got the jitters.
Yeah, it's definitely, he doesn't look like he wants to get hit. Anytime he's about to get hit, he is just throwing the ball up and saying, that's it. Yeah. We're not supposed to win this game anyway. So it just looks absolutely, he looks deer in headlights.
Yeah, that team total was looking like a deer in the headlights, to be honest with you. With how they're not moving the ball. I mean,
Well, again, we thought that would happen in garbage time for the most part. And right now we've looked at is it has been SMU has played well this game, except for Jennings giving Penn State 14 points. Their defense has played good. So, I mean, my under is looking great.
Yeah.
Because I don't think either side could really move the football.
But when the guy who's making the poor decisions touches the ball on every drive, you got to be a little concerned, right, Fox? I mean,
you got to be concerned, but the question is, James Franklin's going to run the ball into the middle of the line if they get up big on this game. This looks like the Clemson game right now from a score point, where I said SMU cannot fall behind. They have fallen behind, and this one, for the most part, you can almost say is a wrap. Big fumble by South Dakota State here in North Dakota State. Believes they've got it at the 22, and I think they do.
All right, boys, what is up?
Just want to come in as we're going to toss it off to the NFL side.
Not yet. We got another 14 minutes, so We'll hang out here. I just want to let everybody know our NFL broadcast is going to start at 1:15. We'll be on a different stream, so we're going to stop this show, and we will get onto the NFL. Fox, you'll be around today, right? You're just going to be watching games.
Yeah, just send me. I was going to tell them. I figured Keg wasn't going to have an issue. Just send me the link, and I'll jump on.
I'll send you the link, or you could just post stuff in the chat. We'll figure that out, but you won't be done with college football just because the show is done. So we're going to go over to the stay on our YouTube channel, Nuke the House, and then we'll get you the broadcast there. And that game's just about underway. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, right here on the YouTube channel. If you're on X, come on over to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. You can subscribe over there. But let's get back to you boys doing a little college football, and I'll just stop by every couple of minutes and say something stupid, and then we'll move over.
Make sure you use code Nuke the Holidays for a free trial at nukethehouse.com too, Holden.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So Penn State now 14-0 on the lead against SMU. Our first half bet is looking quite well. I'll be honest with you. I'm saying that, not chalking it up as a winner just yet, but it's looking good. So the home field, 2 turnovers, 2 pick sixes, as the Bison of the North Dakota State is driving in the red zone as they look to even up the score in this FCS semifinal game.
Yeah, we're giving the ball inside the red zone. That helps.
Yeah, absolutely. So 14-7, now 4.5 point spread, total 55.5. So that total's going up there. So like I said, it might end up in the 60s.
All
right, boys, NFL game is underway. Just so you know, we're on a lot of Pacheco here in the first quarter. And let's see I think this is going to be a good game today. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, the Chiefs just can't cover. The line was absolutely bananas. Opened up Texans -3 because the books thought Mahomes was going to be injured. Then Mahomes practices, then comes back to 3 on the other side with the Chiefs. And you got a couple good defenses going at it today. So we'll see if we get some points. But again, we at Nuke the House need a whole bunch of Pacheco here pretty early. So hopefully the Texans will get out of the way and just move their asses.
He cannot run, though, can he?
Who?
Pacheco. I mean, Mahomes. I mean, I almost want to just house his 9.5 rushing yards because I don't think he's going to attempt to run at all.
But that we say that, and then every year he just sucks it up, makes one 15-yard run, and then it's done. Like that happened with Herbert the other night.
Last night, yeah, the Thursday. God damn it!
I wanted to stay away from Herbert. I'm like, I'm not going to bet him. All the guy needs to do is hobble for 10 yards, and he did it. So,
all right,
so rushing props. You never know.
I thought he got in. Nope, they're going to say no. 2nd and goal, but North Dakota State's going to be tied here because of the fumble.
A bunch of you boys just sweating out North Dakota State this morning. I love it.
I told you that's going to be one of the best games all day. And I flat out told people on this show, and I've told everybody there, that game, if you want to watch a great game, it's going to go back and forth. Yeah. Both teams are a little more explosive than you think. There's playmakers on each side of the football. There are NFL talent, especially from the offensive line on the South Dakota State team. There's a couple guys on the North Dakota State team that should also be drafted. So, I mean, you've got some good players. What a play. Big play, 3-yard loss.
Big stop.
3rd and goal.
Holden, what's your take on the Texans playing outdoors? You think that's going to be an issue?
I just don't know how much offense we're going to see today. So I'm not worried about the indoor-outdoor thing, although there is no question that Stroud is much better at home, and now he's got an offensive lineman that's hurt, so that's not going to help today. But I must say, waking up on this set, it feels like a playoff game. Like we have college football playoff today, but this NFL game seems like a playoff game. And I'm also fascinated to see on Monday what the TV ratings are going to be, because college football playoff and the NFL going head to head. The NFL, college knows that the NFL is going to play on Saturdays, so it's not like they're going to change it around. But these two different games are just going to be cannibalizing each other today. It's fascinating to me. But you got some big programs going at college football.
How do you feel about that? Like when the NFL just gave a big FU, fine, you're going to stand.
They do it every year, though.
They do it at every organization.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if I'm the NFL, I'm the king. I don't give a shit. The NBA is the one that's upset because now NFL's playing on the NBA day.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it's what, Netflix this year, so it'll be a little bit different. Hey, want to remind everybody, about 8 minutes from now, the NFL broadcast is going to start on a different stream. It will be free. It will be here on YouTube on the Nuke the House YouTube channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, great. If you're watching on X, come on over to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. But again, about 8 minutes from now, we'll end this. We're going to head over to the other broadcast. And that's about it. Gnarly. Sorry, Dan. I'm just kind of coming in here doing my thing. Gnarly football fans, it sucks. I don't own 5 TVs. Yeah, you basically need 2 TVs, maybe YouTube TV, so you can have both of them up there. But yeah, I know it's a little bit tough. I'm just an NFL guy, but I love the college football playoff. Like, I didn't have much time to watch last night. I had things going on, but today kids are with their mom. I got a chance to watch tons of football this afternoon. Very excited about this.
So the thing I look at is, you say it happens every year. This is the first time. Normally there's bowl games that really don't matter at all on this game. So yes, the NFL takes place and it's no precedent. But when you have your college football playoff with 3 straight games and the NFL says, fine, we'll put a 1 o'clock and a 4 o'clock game. The NFL should have put a 4 o'clock and an 8 o'clock game.
Agreed.
And sat there and said, okay, there. But I guess they're giving college football the 8 o'clock time window. That is different.
They also put
it doesn't matter, guys. Before anything is made, like, the schedule for the NFL is out. They're not changing this to placate anybody.
They talk to the NCAA. They do it all the time to make sure that there's not a big game. Oh, we got it. Nice play, but the North Dakota State quarterback gets in for a second touchdown.
And Stroud just got intercepted. So the Chiefs are going to have the ball. That's good for our Pacheco. So just so you guys know, I mean, I could throw this out there now. Keg's been betting a lot of first quarter props, and we're on Pacheco, I think, over 10.5 yards in the first quarter. So that actually really helps. And Shaq Mason, I don't know if he's out or not, but he left on that play beforehand, and that was not good. So we got that, and Mahomes just coming out firing here. You got to wonder, because we only got 3 weeks left in the season, if we start seeing the real Chiefs now. One just today, next week, they got 2 games in 10 or 3 games in 10 days, something like that. They just go out, they win today, they win next week, they look great, they take a couple weeks off, and then host a playoff game.
That's a good point. I wouldn't be hesitant to put them in any first half bets, Holden. If they're going to go out and dictate the game, right, they're going to win it in the first half and set the tone for the second half. So I think that's a good point.
All right, we got a couple yards out of Pacheco here, maybe more than a couple yards. So
8.
That's the one I'm sweating right now.
That was worthy. My bad.
So SMU with a big 4th down stop, because Penn State decided to go for it on their own 19.
Well, that's James Franklin for you.
SMU is set up here, and they're going to be 1st and goal here from the 5. LJ Johnson with a nice run. This is how your SMU team's going to get their first touchdown here. KG, you need this.
Pacheco just got a 7 for those of you that are sweating out the over 10.5 in the first quarter from Pacheco. The bet from Kegger, that looks better than it did a couple minutes ago.
Yes,
Carter
it
shut
does.
down his first down play.
Again, 5 minutes away. Hold on one sec. 5 minutes away from ending this show, and then we're going to go on a different stream. We're going to live bet the NFL game, and we will still live bet the college game.
Use code Nuke the holidays for a 1 week free trial at nukehouse.com too.
Abdul Carter's trying to take it on himself here to stop this drive.
Dude, Mahomes looks really
it's a
good.
pick! It's a pick! Defensive end tips it.
Oh, zero.
Linebacker, maybe the
Could it be a
safety.
third? No, it's not a third.
It's a third interception for Brandon Jennings. So
Take
those
him
are
out.
Brandon
Take him
Jennings
out.
to have 3 interceptions.
Take him out. He's just
We had a secondary blitz here. I don't know if it's the safety or the corner came. He saw
He's thrown it to the other team, like willingly.
Jennings does not want to get hit. That's basically the theme of this game. I don't want to get hit. I'm going to get rid of it if you pressure me in any way, shape, function, or form. Tried to do the quick throw. Great hang. Hits him right in the hands. Tips the ball up, and he makes the interception. And that ends the SMU drive. KG, your team total is 100% dead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, KG. I'm sorry. That's just it's not a bad beat. The kid's rattled. I mean, the kid's we've said it. You know, he's not making the right decisions out there. So.
All right, we need 1 more yard out of Pacheco. So let's hope we can go there. There's so much time left in the first quarter, too. 10 minutes left. This is the NFL game I'm talking about. Scoreless. Stroud threw an interception. Shaq Mason, one of his offensive linemen on the left side, went down. We'll see if he comes back. That could be a big injury. And Pacheco has 10 yards. We need 11 to cash our first bet of the day. In the NFL, of course.
Well, we're going to catch Penn State -4, 3.5. That's almost a lock.
We give out no sweat bets over here, Holden. No sweaters.
No sweat bets?
No sweat.
Well, the guys make fun of me all the time because I'm always sweating stuff. So they're like, "You're not built for this. You're not built for this." That's fine.
That's part of the fun, though. It's
Still enjoy it. I still enjoy it. Okay. So again, just underway there. Chiefs got a turnover. Scoreless. Pacheco's got 10 yards. And Shaq Mason is hurt right now. We will be doing the second game today as well, live with the Steelers and the Ravens. So I believe we're going to go premium for that one, though. That game should be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Love that rivalry. Maybe my favorite rivalry in the NFL right now. Although I think if the Packers and the Lions can face off in the playoffs, that might rival a little bit.
I got a Packers Super Bowl ticket, Holden.
And we'll go for it, dude.
Thank you.
Go for it. I hope you hit.
30-1.
In the NFC, you might as well. You might as well take a shot on anybody because the Lions are good, but their defense is terrible.
Well,
By the way,
I'm not sold on
Mahomes looks fine. Mahomes looks 100% fine. There's nothing wrong with Patrick Mahomes.
He's got a little.
But if he's not fine, if he is fine, why are we not firing on all the receiving props that were at absolute disrespect when you look at
this is the
Then
playoffs.
go for it.
most of the numbers were like 40 yards.
Go for it. I mean, seriously, man. If you're going to, I'll tell you, you're the capper, man. Hopkins has 14. Worthy has 11. Both of them have 2 catches. So, I mean, he's firing right now. He is firing. If he picks up this 3rd and 13, look at him move. Patrick Mahomes is fine, and he's already running, dude. He's already running. He's a yard short of a first down. There's whatever you were on. What was it? He just picked up like 11 or 12 yards on the ground. So he's hobbling a little bit, but this is why you don't bet quarterback player prop rushing under when there's an ankle injury, because all they got to do is hobble one time and you're there, and he just got it. All right, guys, here's the deal. Foxy, great job today. Dan, great job today. Loved seeing you, pal. We will continue to live bet the college football game, but we're going to get the Houston, Kansas City game. They are going for it on 4th down, unless they are going for it on 4th down and 2. So we will continue to bet this game. We will bet college football, and make sure if you are a subscriber, hop in the Discord, get your live betting notifications on. That's the one thing we do here. You don't have to watch the shows. If you're like, hey, I want to bet college and I want to bet pro and I want to bet, you don't got to watch our shows though. You just get it right to your phone. So nukethehouse.com. And Foxy, we'll catch you in a little bit. And Dan, always good to see you, my friend. You did a great job today.
You too. Thank you all.
All right, head on over. Stay here on our YouTube channel, not in this room, but Keg and I are going to be live here in just a second, and we're going to be doing the NFL game and some college football. Let's go nuke the house.